G'day and welcome to another episode of Kiwi Car Life. And a couple months ago a friend of mine gave me his immaculate S2000 for the day, and I figured it might make for an interesting video to see how a couple of my friends react to 9,000 RPM of VTEC goodness. But this is an Accord channel, so I thought it would be rude not to at least do a video seeing how my friends react to the Accord as well. Right, so we begin here with Jack.
Yes.
Hello. So, long-time viewers of the channel may remember Jack from a long time ago when I compared my Accord with his BMW 325i. I still have this, but you have had quite a few cars since that, haven't you? What have you had?
I had a manual Legacy and then a 335i and now a 535i.
You actually had two manual
and
Legacies.
Another manual Legacy.
And another manual Legacy.
Oh, and now my old black Legacy too.
And then he's bought that back. So basically since that 325i, I have had one car and you have had about six. Which is all the more interesting because what we can do is go back and see the things that you said about this car when it was completely stock. Here we go. The first point you said was, transmission is one of the best you've ever driven.
That still stands.
Yes. The clutch is really nice.
It still stands. It's
Okay.
a very low biting point.
Yes.
But it's good.
Steering is good because it's direct but not too light.
Yes.
Yes. It's phenomenal the way that it handles.
It does handle very
Oh, hello. Nearly getting killed by you. A good balance between stiffness and comfort.
Yes, yeah, it's very European in that.
Where it's firm and doesn't have too much body roll, but it's not uncomfortable. And then you finished off by saying, it's quite nice.
It is quite nice.
Is that all?
That is all.
So now it has probably had 3 times the value of the car and mods done to it. New Zealand new Accord. So I'll be interested to see what you think now.
Right.
Of the
Are you ready?
speed. I am.
Oh yes. That's fantastic.
It is
So good.
It's good.
It's just satisfying. It's
The Type R gears have made all the difference, haven't
Yes.
they? Because now you don't have that annoying, just massive drop in revs when you put your foot down.
Yeah, because the 1 to 2 was longer than the distance from the
It was so long you could fit a whole nother gearbox in between it. You could fit like 3 of the gears of your ZF8 and your 5-speed in between the first and second gear of this.
It is probably the most satisfying car I've ever driven.
Really? Even more so than your 535?
Yeah, because it just, I don't know, there's something about it, it's just so fizzy.
Yes, no, that's true.
You feel it, you don't just hear it, you feel everything doing it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I like, is that it has a raw driving experience, but it's still refined.
Yes.
So it's not like the Celica that I just filmed a video on last week, where you put your foot down and you get this incredible noise and the whole car vibrates and everything. But then you're just sitting on the motorway in 6th gear, it's doing 3 you literally, it is the worst car ever. Just everything's just banging about in the interior, and then you look down to change the volume or something and the knob falls off because it's just made out of Fisher and Paykel level plastics, and that's the whole thing with this, is that, but that's what I love about this, is that you put your foot down and it's like, wow, that is a sound and a half.
But it's not rattling.
But
it's not, things aren't falling off.
No, I've been actually pleasantly surprised at the reliability of this. I don't know how, because mate, I'm not going to be honest. I don't like beat on it. I don't just sit there doing burnouts and dumping the clutch all the time. But I, thrash the engine redline quite regularly. Yeah. And it's fine.
Yeah, the only issues you've encountered have been things that you've done to it.
Yeah,
like
true.
Gearbox,
the gearbox playing up and the headers exploding. Actually, we haven't told that story. We went down to look at some car dealers to just do nerdy car stuff. Yeah. And I pulled out of the dealership driveway and then got to about 6,000 to 7,000 RPM at first. And then there was just the loudest noise in the world. And we discovered that both the bolts that hold my header together had fallen out at some point, and the header was slowly slipping itself apart, and me putting my foot down that time was just enough to pop the header open. So the car was basically running at redline at full throttle with open headers. Yeah. And it was the loudest. Literally.
Because it was still attached when you're on throttle, and the second you lift it off, it's just the loudest noise. And I was like, man,
yeah, mate.
Everything in my car just started rattling.
The sound of another car caused your car to rattle because it was that loud. But looking back, it was one of the funniest things that's ever happened to this car.
On a work night too.
Yeah, on a work night. So like 10 PM at night, I'm in the Continental Cars Wellington car park, with my car up on a jack, trying to fit my headers back together and bolt them up. Oh. Alrighty, so reacting to my Accord is Luke. Some of you guys may recognise him from way back in the day when he reacted to my Integra when I first bought it, which was quite a funny video. You can see that by clicking up here. And he's come all the way down from National Park just for this, haven't you?
Pretty much, yep.
Sort of. Alrighty, let's give it some beans.
Oh, it sounds so good.
And I love just the immediate response.
Oh, you put your foot down, this thing moves. Wow. I'm speechless, to be honest.
Oh,
it's definitely a lot quicker than it was the last time I rode in it.
Yeah.
It's the fastest car I've ever driven in.
Really?
Sure, yeah.
I just realised I did all that with the air conditioning on too. Banging Limmy at 8,000 RPM, mate.
It's nuts.
Oh yeah.
It just goes, it goes, it goes.
Yeah, it just keeps revving, eh? Right, and finally we have James, the man himself. James, tell us about the vehicle that you currently own possession of.
I currently own a 2007 VW Golf GTI.
Yes.
Had it for about, going on 8 months now.
Nice.
Before that, I had a Honda CRZ 2010.
Yes.
And then before that, I actually had a Golf GTI, but an older one. But it had a few issues, so
Not surprising.
We decided to move on to a more economic car, but I decided I would like some more speed and power, so back to the Golf.
Nice. Speaking of speed and power.
Oh mate, for an Accord, that's brilliant. I tell you.
It goes pretty good, eh?
It does.
Like,
mate.
to think it doesn't even have a turbo, and it is a big heavy car.
For
And that was with the
sedan.
air conditioning on, with 2 passengers, and we were going fast.
Yes. For a family sedan, and even the sound is just very different to your Integra in that way.
Oh yeah, the Integra was like this in terms of the straight line speed, but very much unlike this in terms of the comfort.
Yes.
I thought the Integra was like my forever car. After I had my Type S, the first one, I was like, oh, Type R would be perfect. Nope. It was awful. It was so awful to live with every day. The other thing I love about this is just the response. Just that instant response from a naturally aspirated engine. There's no turbo lag, no waiting for the gearbox to muck about. Oh, hello, Lexus. You know, if you get the revs at just the right point, and then you just floor it, it's just instant, just bang on the power.
Yeah, that's the thing with this, as opposed to my Golf at those higher RPMs, it just kicks into
It keeps going,
It just keeps going. It's just,
That's what I love. I've driven a lot of cars these days, and there are not too many cars that are able to keep pulling all the way to 8,000 RPM. Combination of the headers to add power, the reflash to change where the VTEC engages, and the short gears. It's the best car I've ever owned. Well, there we go. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Kiwi Car Life, and thank you to Luke, Jack and James for featuring in today's episode and delivering your thoughts on my vehicle. And if you want to see my friends reacting to a Honda S2000, then click over here. And if you want to see me comparing my Accord with another equally fast and loud and very high revving car, then click over here to see me comparing it with a Honda Accord Euro R. And I will look forward to seeing you again next time.